Alrighty. Hello, hello. Once again, let me check everything. Have sound. It's Tuesday. New week. Okay. It is Tuesday, and as promised, my Tuesday talk, my Tuesday chat about what is going on in the life of a parent raising a young adult on the autism spectrum, along with an intellectual disability. So we have those two things together. And I know today is this wonderful Giving Tuesday, which is wonderful. You know, find a charity that's near dear to your heart and, give. Remember, organizations that rely on donations really need your help in order to provide the services they provide. So on this Giving Tuesday, find an organization you believe in and give them a donation. So what I want to talk about on this Giving Tuesday actually deals with the whole thing of the Giving Tuesday, and really to remind you that you need to make sure you give yourself a break. I know that that's easier said than done, but make sure you give yourself a break. And what I mean by give yourself a break, give yourself a moment to process everything. When a situation happens, rather it's a high or a low, give yourself time to process that situation. Take a moment, and whatever went very well, hey Auntie Gladys, whatever went well with the moment, make a mental note of that. Whatever may have gone not so well with the moment, make a mental note of that as well. And give yourself a moment to process everything. We just, we're coming off that Thanksgiving holiday, and we have so many other holidays that are coming up over the month of December based on your faith. And it's really important that we, think about what worked for us for Thanksgiving. If you were out with family and it was your first time, being around your loved one that's on the autism spectrum. If you're the caregiver, what are some things that maybe you realize, okay, I need to talk to my family about before we come together again in December? And, you just didn't really want to talk about it then at Thanksgiving. Make sure you give them that information. Kind of have some talks. They may have some questions, however you want to do it, rather it be by text, whatever the case may be, email, but give them an opportunity to ask questions now that, you've moved on from the holiday, because there are going to be more holidays to come. So give them an opportunity to ask you some questions, and, try your best to answer those questions. Really and truly think about it. The more we give that information to our family and loved ones, the only thing it's going to do is make things better so that we have a more inclusive society. So keeping that in mind, make sure you're doing those things. Now, what I want to talk about tonight, a lot of you know the big thing that we have been working towards is a day program for Kendall. That's been, our goal since really the start of the school year, and really and truly within this last 60 days, really searching. It probably was more than 60 now that I'm thinking about it, but really going out and trying to, hello, Miss Cooper, really going out and trying to find a day program for Kendall, something that would work for her. So let me just say, And this is giving you a moment of total honesty. We have found a program. However, Kendall has yet to attend. And let me tell you why. It's nothing wrong with the program. Let me say that. Everything when we visited the program, I liked about the program. I liked about the coordinator of the program. When we talked about things they do, all of those things were great. So let me just say, it has nothing to do with the program. However, it is really giving Kendall anxiety, and not a good anxiety. There are moments we're her parents. We know the difference with her levels of anxiety. And we realize that this is an anxiety that can turn into aggression. So we've yet to go. We've yet to actually send her for a day, because the plan was, let's start off with just sending her 2 days a week and see how things would go. And then we were like, let's just send her 1 day and see how things would go. And we really, haven't been able to actually take her at all, because we noticed her anxiety being, really, really high. And the reason that for us has kind of made us hold back. Let me just give you a little bit of back information for some of you that may not know our story, our full story. And if you want to learn more about our full story, you can check out A Crusade for Kendall. It's available on Amazon. It tells our whole story. And so Kendall has an autism diagnosis and an intellectual disability diagnosis. And Kendall also deals with aggression, which can be a characteristic sometime, or a way of how she handles situations that are overloading for her. And that aggression can be quite a bit at times. So we know her well enough now to kind of know when her anxiety is leaning towards being high, and that the reaction or response could be aggression. So over the years, I joke and tell people, but it's really the truth, that because of so many moments of aggression with Kendall, we've dealt with suspensions, we've dealt with charges. Believe it or not, yeah, we've dealt with charges as well. We've dealt with attorneys. We just dealt with a lot when it comes to Kendall and situations with school. And it's not a total blame of the school. I mean, it is a process of working through and everybody kind of learning. But it's a two-part thing. Fault, as Kendall was learning how to kind of get control of her emotions. So over those years, my phone, and really when I'm saying my phone, is really our phone, was with me at all times. And the reason my phone was with me at all times was simply because I never knew when it was going to ring with a situation about Kendall. And I really and truly had to, change my ringtone, because when I would hear my phone ring, I would react. I could feel myself tense up before I could even look and see who was calling. And for all of the numbers attached to Kendall in my phone, it would say Kendall and then who the adult was. So immediately, if I see Kendall, of course, my anxiety goes straight up. What are you calling about? And because of that, since we've been home, we've both been able to relax. We know she needs to go to a day program. We know the benefits. However, we've both been able to relax and not have to be by our phone at all times, because she's here with us. And so when we see this anxiety that she is displaying right now about the day program, it kind of makes us both hesitant, because I don't want to go back to my phone ringing like that. And I want her to go, but we've got to kind of figure out, and it may start out, we thought 2 days, 1 day, it may just simply be an hour, and kind of see how things go, so we can slowly get her into the setting. But the biggest thing is that we've been able to kind of, I guess, exhale, because she's been here with us. And because she's been here with us, nobody's calling. So understand, when I say people are calling, they all, her teachers had the best intentions, but sometimes things were beyond their control and they had to call us. And it really got to the point to where everybody knew if you called us about Kendall, that the first thing you needed to say before we could listen to anything else you were saying to us was to tell us that everything was okay. And that's actually something I, during my trainings I do with educators, school counselors, is making sure they understand, hey, Aaron, making sure they understand that when you call home for a child that may have challenges, before you say anything else, let that parent know that everything is okay. Because until you say that, I can tell you from experience, I'm holding my breath waiting for you to tell me what went wrong. So you could be telling me the greatest thing, but I can't even process it because I'm waiting for you to tell me, okay, we were doing this and then this happened. Because that's how things would go sometimes with her. So, we've been able to kind of let our guard down and relax. Kendall actually got suspended up until leading out of the school year in May behind different things or whatever. And it wasn't that we were mad at anybody. It was, she immediately knew what she did. It was an impulse control. She was annoyed and she punched. So it was one of those things, there was a consequence. So we've come a long ways because she immediately knew she had done something wrong and said, you're going to call my mom. So we've come a long way, but right now we're both kind of feeling like, I don't know if I'm ready to go back to having to worry about my phone ringing. And, the best intentions with a situation go left. And because her anxiety is so high that she lashes out. So right now we've yet to attend the day program. We met with her case manager Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we've kind of talked about, a new plan with some different things, but our goal still is to try to get her into the building for the day program, simply because we've got to work on those skills, that anxiety, breathing skills, all of those things, because there are going to be moments in life that she is going to have to just go where she has to go, even if her anxiety is high and we're worried about the anxiety turning into aggression. But for this moment, we're trying to baby step our way in. And I just don't want to have to deal with my phone. And that's really what it is. I don't want to have to deal with the PTSD I still deal with as a result of my phone ringing with her over the years of being in school, or, Rich having his phone ring over the years of situations with her at school. So that's where we are right now. We have found a day program. However, we have yet to attend. So we're going to try again and see what can happen this upcoming Monday. And it may simply be an hour. That really may be what it is. Let's try for an hour and see how things go. And I'll just stay in the area just so we can kind of get over this threshold of things. But it's really, being honest with y'all, it's really all about just, I don't want to have that feeling. That feeling was for years of, looking at my phone when it would ring. And I think that's why now, really and truly, I really don't even have my ringer on. So if I'm not holding my phone, if it's not by me and I don't see the screen lighting up, I don't know it's ringing. So, and that's because, just like I said, over the years, that ringing really created PTSD to where I really don't like to hear the phone ring at all. Because I always wonder if it's something with her. So having her here allows us both to kind of exhale and know nobody's calling about her because she's here with us. So understand that this journey, being a autism parent, parent of a child with intellectual disability, that actually, deals with aggression, and it's gotten much better over the years. But it's still there. It's not something we can say is gone. It is still present. It is still a part of who she is, which was why some of the programs told us no, because they realized she had a moment. And let me just say, 95, probably really 98% of the time, she is perfect. She wants to please adults. She wants to be the reader. She wants to be in charge. But when you have that moment when that anxiety peaks, it presents itself sometime as aggression. So you know, it's one of those things we know about her well enough to know that right now what we're seeing, that level of anxiety when we talk about this day program, that it could lead to that. So we've been kind of hesitant. And, you know, that's just being honest. So it's real easy for people to just assume, hey, everything is going to go great. And we always have a positive mindset. Please understand. Hey, Pearson. We always have a positive outlook, you know, of things going great. But just right now, we just kind of both are like, are we ready to go into a situation knowing her anxiety is so high and have our phones glued to us again? So we'll see what happens. We'll take baby steps. But that's kind of where things are right now. But that leads me to the whole thing of, you know, just really being understanding and being patient when it comes to, when I say patient, because that patience I ask for with people, I know definitely dealing with Kendall, is that she's a very sweet girl. Very, very sweet. But when you read about sometimes reports that are written about your child, they do not put them in the best light. They you know, point out all of the things that probably would make someone wonder, who is this child? And so because we've dealt with aggression with her for years, and you know, where in some instances she actually was in a behavior unit in school because of the aggression, the paperwork on her never looks the best. So having said that, one of the things that, you know, we started doing when she was much younger, and I say much younger, I mean elementary school, is we would put together what we called our Getting to Know Kendall booklet or folder. And we would spell out who Kendall, you know, who Kendall is. You know, that she is part of a family. She has a brother. You know, that we go to the beach every year. We include pictures of her. We let them know things that work as treats for her, what does not work, what to avoid, how she may respond in situations. We give them all this information so that they are able to learn more about Kendall than documents that have probably been passed on. And we've done the same thing here as we are, you know, going to baby step our way to the day program. She may be 22, but we still have put together. I emailed them a hard copy of that Getting to Know Kendall. I guess you could call it a booklet because it's about 6-7 pages. And I've made hard copies as well that I'll give out. So understand, sometimes it's something else here pointing out that when we want people to know more about our child, if they've kind of had some challenges, you know, encourage your family members to, you know what, put together a Getting to Know that individual. It could be a brochure, it could be a one-pager, but it lets them know who that child is beyond whatever documentation that's moved on from teacher to teacher, because that documentation may not put the best, you know, create the best image for your child. So take a moment, type out that information, and it's really going to just be very beneficial for them to know a lot more about who they are. Because when we met with the case manager and I gave her a copy of it, we met Wednesday, actually the day before Thanksgiving, and I gave her a copy as we were talking about our, you know, some different options, some different things to possibly add with the day program for Kendall. And she was so excited to see that folder that we, you know, had created about Kendall and this Getting to Know. And she was like, do I get to keep this? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is your copy, because we want everyone that interacts with her to know who she is beyond whatever report may have been passed on about her through the system, because aggression is a part of who she is, and sometimes that can be a bigger spotlight in her paperwork than it really is as it relates to who Kendall is as an individual. So take that time. You know, I know right now we're kind of late in the school year, and it may be a moment you need to kind of reset. I always say sometimes you understand a person better when you know their story, you know a little bit more about them, and it helps you to best support them. So keep in mind what's in the reports about your kids, an IEP, psychological. It's not going to give a picture of who that individual truly is. So if you want them to know who that individual truly is, you may want to put those things together. Write those things out. Let them know. I let them know we go to the movies. I let them know different snacks that she, enjoys. I let people know as well that Kendall is a reader. And thank you to Miss Brewer. That was her teacher in elementary school, one of her teachers. And she taught her, to read. And if you leave an open phone, Kendall will read your text messages. And that's something we let people know. Simply because I don't want them to be caught off guard, because she's going to read it out loud. She's not going to read it and say it. She's going to read it out loud. So those are things we make sure we let people know. We let them know if you're using a code or something, shield it from her, because she's watching and she's going to take that code down. So all of those things are, yes, just useful information as they kind of get to know Kendall, and makes them see her in the light of that. Guess what? Beyond the autism, she still is an individual. She's an individual with this funny personality, who is a girly girl. And that's something we point out to people as well. She's going to have on a watch every day. She's going to have on earrings every day, and she's going to have on a necklace. Those are a given. Those are the things that you're going to see when you see her. But all of those things we include in that getting to know packet. And so we've still done the same thing with the day program. Even though we've yet to make it into the building, we've given them that information so that they can be better prepared for her when we, cross that threshold and make it into the building, because it's going to happen. It's just going to be baby steps, but baby steps are okay. Progress is progress, regardless of how slow it is. It's progress for us. So once again, thank you all for those of you who have joined me tonight. What I want to say is what I always encourage and remind everyone, please, please, please make sure that you are getting a state ID for your loved ones. It does not matter if they have an intellectual disability. The same way we make sure at 15 people get a learner's permit, we want to do the same thing and make sure they get a state ID. Do not solely rely on that school ID, and a lot of parents do that. You just kind of bank on the school ID, but go ahead and get them a state ID. Look into your state, see what documentation you need, and get them a state ID. They deserve a state ID, just like, your neurotypical child that you ran out to make sure you got their learner's permit at 15. So look into your state and see what you need to do to, get a state ID, because they deserve a state ID just like anyone else. And to just recap, give yourself a break, give yourself a moment on this Giving Tuesday, give yourself time. Find some time to carve out during the day. I don't care how, it may be 5 minutes, but just find some time that you're able to just be, by yourself with your thoughts and not always on the go. Because if we don't stop, if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of anyone else. So we've got to make sure we take care of ourselves. So have a great one, everyone. Once again, I mentioned before, if you haven't, our full story is on Amazon. It's a crusade for Kendall, and it takes you from diagnosis to 18 and everything we dealt with our highs and lows. So something definitely, I encourage everyone to check out, so that people realize you're not alone in the challenges that you're dealing with, that I understand, because we've been there and we still deal with things. Like I'm telling you right now, we're still navigating our way into this day program, baby steps. So have a great Tuesday, everyone. Thank you to those of you who have joined me tonight, and, like, tag, share, so that we can make sure we're passing on information so that parents understand, autism parents understand that they're not alone. And, other family members can learn from some of the information that I share, so that they can be more supportive. So, not to say they're not supportive, let me say that. So that they're able to support in a much better way. So, thank you, Auntie Gladys. So, have a great one, everyone, and I will see you all next week.